I was stuck in the ground trying to cover my eyes, trying to move all this light. I spent all night trying to remember your face, like trying to get blood from a stone. There's nothing to say. And no one to lie to.
I've been doing this for 12 years and I have never seen fire behavior like this.
Hello, Water is Life Festival. I'm Madeline Wallstrom, and this is my co-host, Danielle Fahim. We're both extremely honored and very excited to be here at the Water is Life Festival, bringing some really amazing topics to you today. We're going to be talking about bringing environmental sustainability to the marine industry and to the boating industry as a whole, looking at marinas, looking at boaters, how we can tackle all those topics and teach you guys a little bit about what we've got going. I'm up here in Harbor Springs. It's a beautiful, sunny, a little bit windy day. I got a lot going on. We got some boats in the background. But other than that, we'll get started right away. And Danielle's going to give you a little bit of a spiel about Michigan Boating Industries Association and all the really amazing stuff that they've already accomplished and all the stuff they've got going for the future. So Danielle, take it away.
Hey, hello everyone. I am Danielle Fahim and I am so excited to be helping present today alongside Madeline Wallstrom. I work at Michigan Boating Industries Association, which was established in 1958 by marine businessmen dedicated to improving the overall boating industry. And today, MBIA represents more than 350 marine businesses in Michigan. I also have the wonderful opportunity of working with the Clean Marina Foundation, which was created to assist marinas in becoming more environmentally conscious and to help them improve water quality and the habitat for fish and the various wildlife. And I will begin today by showing you guys the Clean Marina Program. So the Clean Marina Program is designed for marinas who voluntarily pledge to maintain and improve Michigan's waterways by reducing or eliminating harmful substances and phasing out practices that can damage aquatic environments. To date, more than 80 marinas have been awarded certification. And since the program began back in 2004, more than 40 marinas have been recertified, which shows their continued commitment to keeping Michigan water clean. I would like to take a moment and share a short video about the Clean Marina Program and what it means to be a certified clean marina from the harbor masters and the marina owners themselves. Take a look.
Boating is all about enjoying the great outdoors. Fresh air, sunshine, and most importantly, clean water. And there's no better place to boat in the world than the Great Lakes. But it's up to all of us to keep these Great Lakes clean. And a great way to do that is to support clean marinas.
Anybody that's in the marina business needs to be in part of this program.
It's very important to me. I made sure to choose a marina that was a clean marina and a clean harbor.
Although we were doing a lot of things right and being clean, there were some things that we just weren't thinking of.
You don't have to worry about oil slicks besides your boats getting all messed up.
At first, it involved some time and paperwork, but now it just goes along with the rest of our environmental practices, the rest of the way we do business.
If you see one of these Clean Marina logos, you know you're doing business with a marina committed to environmental best practices. Everything from managing wastewater, to preventing fuel spills, to recycling used oil, batteries, and solvents, to making sure boaters have easy access to recycle bins. But if you dock at a Clean Marina, be prepared to do your part.
Because you're only as clean as your boaters are clean.
Clean marinas are not only good for the environment and our Great Lakes, they make for a top quality boating experience. And for marinas, a healthier bottom line.
If you have a cleaner marina, your value is going to be greater. So if you ever do decide you want to sell or have other investors, they're going to look at your product, which is your facility and your land, and it's going to be worth more.
Is it a selling point to you? Is it?
Yes.
We keep our boat here because it's a clean marina. We have our children here. Our boat is sitting in the water. It's worth paying extra for a clean marina.
Would you rather be in a clean marina than one that's not certified? So you'd say it's a selling point?
Yeah, I think so.
Being a clean marina can help promote your business in ways you'd never expect. Take Michigan, for example. What are some of the unexpected benefits for a marina owner for becoming a certified clean marina?
There are many. The state of Michigan has a special section on their website that highlights clean marinas. We put together a beautiful glossy 4-color publication that's distributed throughout the state of Michigan, and in that publication we highlight Michigan's clean marinas. We also put out press releases to local media for any marina that becomes certified or recertified. There's a host of organizations here that want to support this effort and work to make sure that the boating public know which marinas have taken this extra step.
Being a clean marina can not only reduce your insurance and waste disposal costs, because you're protecting one of our most valuable resources, our Great Lakes, it can enhance your image among both boaters and your community.
It's very important to us, but I think it's also important to the community because they know that we're trying to preserve the Bay of Green Bay, and that's one of the best resources that we have in this area.
If you want to be a certified clean marina, the first step is to complete the online training. You'll find everything you need right there. Checklists, educational units, and a review of relevant laws and regulations that address pollution prevention. And you can do the training at your own pace. And if you're a boater, you can do your part by supporting certified clean marinas. To get a list of clean marinas in your area, visit glcleanmarina.org. Or when you're out on the water, just look for the burgee.
From that video, you can see that being a certified clean marina is so essential to preserving our waters. By being certified, marinas are more prepared to deal with the unexpected situations, whether that is an oil or a gas spill, because petroleum in or on the water is harmful and in some cases fatal to aquatic life. Gwen at Yacht Basin Marina and Eric Kyle at Great Lakes Scuttlebutt will discuss further how a certified clean marina is prepared to handle and prevent this type of situation.
As a clean marina, how are you guys preventing gas and oil spills at your marina, Yacht Basin?
Sure. That can definitely be a tough one. We ask our boaters try to keep their vents. Each boat has a vent where that's usually where your gas will spill out of first. Make sure they're clean and free of spider webs. Spiders love to live in there. We train all of our employees at the fuel deck to listen. You can always hear when that gas is starting to get right up to the top and stop. As soon as you hear it, stop. You know, you can have the customer check their fuel gauge. You can never rely on boat fuel gauges, but we can have them check their fuel gauge, and if it looks like it's not, well, then maybe their vent is plugged. If we have a boat that insists he's only half full and it keeps coming out of that vent gauge, we stop fueling that boat and ask them to return once they've cleaned their vent, because you're going to spill into the water. Now, if it does happen to spill, we do have a spill kit at our fuel dock. that consists of absorbent bales. You know, you never spray the water with soap. It really doesn't do any good. And then the absorbent bales are there. If it's a large spill, well, then you would call and make a report.
So exactly how would an oil spill happen at a marina? Because I can't imagine spilling any oil out of my engine into the water. How does that even happen?
An oil spill would probably be because the boat itself, the motor has somewhat of an oil leak, which when it leaks, it goes down into the bilge. And if the bilge gets water and the bilge pump runs, well, that spits it right into the lake, and that's where your oil spills would come from.
And you guys are prepared to handle that as well at Yacht Basin Marina?
Yes, we have all of the proper kits for that as well. The bales and so forth.
So, Gwen, I really want to thank you for helping me to tackle some of these challenges that we are faced with here in Michigan in order to become a clean marina, and some of the measures that you guys are putting in place in order to keep that status and maintain it as you're moving forward. Michigan Boating Industry Association, in conjunction with Great Lakes Scuttlebutt Magazine and Clean Marina Program, thank you for your time today. We really appreciate all the efforts that you guys are putting in to keep us safe out on the water and to keep our environment clean. So Gwen, thank you so much for joining us today. We'll look forward to seeing you out on the water, and have yourself a great summer.
That sounds great. You as well. Thank you so much.
Being prepared and having the proper tools to handle oil and gas spills is so crucial to preserving the wildlife in our waters. If you need more information, there is spill kits available on our website. So here are a few ways certified marinas are helping to preserve our waters. Clean marinas keep oil, fuel, sewage, solvents, cleaning products, plastics, soil, and nutrients out of boating waters. They reduce the trash contamination, which means lower overall costs on waste and potentially lower costs for boaters, marinas, and even the boatyards. Clean marinas help prevent the spread of aquatic invasive species by proper boat washing and watching of equipment. Better marina designs improves water circulation and reduces the need for dredging. Everybody wins when we keep our waters clean. And moving forward, we like to look to the future, and this year has had a lot of new challenges with the outbreak of COVID-19 and our high water levels. One of the wonderful factors that has come out of this very difficult season of COVID and just all the difficulties we've all faced with quarantine is that people have flocked to the waters and they are enjoying the outdoors so much. The boating industry has witnessed this firsthand with a wave of new boaters in 2020. Because of this new influx of boaters, we need to increase our education and our outreach to help bring awareness of how to preserve our beautiful waters. We can all enjoy those Great Lakes for the many generations to come. One way to reduce this is take your litter home. And we will be discussing how to reduce and recycle. So reducing waste by avoiding purchasing plastic containers and excessive packaging, and making sure to recycle those items, and always use a reusable water bottle. That way there's a lot less spill. Purchase drinks in a recyclable container and recycle them. Make sure to prevent trash from being flown from overboard, and always throw away trash in trash cans, and make sure that the trash cans typically have lids so that way they don't flow into the waters of the harbors and marinas. And next, we will be discussing how to keep toxins out of the water. So first, we will be reviewing the fuel spills, because these are just so horrible for the environment. I cannot stress this enough. Make sure to follow best practices for fueling, maintain your bilge. Prevention and preparedness is key. And like I said, on our Clean Marina website, we do have information all about a spill kit. So please, if you need one, just make sure you are prepared. And moving forward on oil spills, always properly dispose of all oil absorbent materials, and again, be prepared for cleanup. So for cleaning supplies, we want to always wash frequently with water and a sponge first, and select the least toxic product for the job. You can use alternative cleaning products such as baking soda and vinegar, and always avoid the ones that have been listed on this as well. And next we'll be discussing how we can stop the spread of invasive species, which is so crucial, as you all know. And so to do so, we make sure to properly wash all of the boats and remove any plants, animals, any mud or debris that might be stuck to trailers or anything on your boat. Make sure to clean the anchors, the lines, the trailers, including the wheels, axles, even those kayakers and sailboats. Make sure you are thoroughly washing your boat. And now Madeline will be discussing how we can go beyond the marinas to take care of our waters. These were some very beginning practical steps for all marinas to be implementing, and now she will take us beyond.
Thank you, Danielle. Geez, Clean Marina has so much going on. I'm glad that I was able to learn about that working in the marine industry as well. I know I learned so much, and that's part of the reason what propelled me to keep going with it and kind of take it a step further into expanding that to boaters in general, which is kind of what I'm going to give you guys a speech about now. So I'm going to be telling you guys about how we can take the concepts that were in Clean Marina and applying them to the boating industry as a whole, and as personal boaters, as manufacturers, what to do with boats at the end of their life, the whole shebang. So let's get right into it. All right, so I'm going to be talking first a little bit about green manufacturing. So when I say that, I mean about boat manufacturers, people that are making boats, and how they're making them in a more sustainable, eco-friendly way. So first of all, Green Line is a really pioneer in the boating industry with what they have made available to consumers. They have boats from 33 feet all the way out to 68 feet, which is actually unheard of. What they're doing is they're providing consumers with boats that are hybrid, they're electric, or they're just diesel. So they're actually blanketing the whole consumer industry and saying, we can actually have a very large demographic, a wide range of people will be able to use these boats. To see these other options available throughout the same line of boat would actually be a way to kind of start converting people into that line of thinking. So they're using electric engines and solar panels. Silent Yachts is actually one of the biggest innovators when it comes to solar power yachts. They were the first ones to come out with a boat that was fully solar powered. What's so cool about these boats is that they can be powered in 3 different ways. So you can be powered by your solar panels, your batteries, or your generator. So when you go into port, there's no need for you to even plug in. Typically when boats go into port, they have either 30 amp or 50 amp that they have to plug in order to run all of their electronics, their refrigerator, everything, and charge their batteries for their engine. But these boats are totally sustainable. They proved to be extremely durable and be able to cross the Atlantic Ocean on a 64-foot vessel. They do manufacture boats up to 80 feet. The next manufacturer that I want to tell everyone about is abetter Yachts. They're making some of the most innovative leaps and bounds towards a new, greener, brighter future for environmental sustainability in the marine industry. They're probably one of my favorite manufacturers out there, honestly. They're a family-run company, and we'll jump right into kind of what they've got going, because they're actually making boats that are sustainable not only at the end of their life, but in the beginning, the middle, and the end. So they're making boats from recycled material that throughout the entire production process are still green and then can be recycled at the end of their life. So how are they doing this? They're using volcanic material and minerals together with fibers and resin to produce this really rigid, strong material that's almost just like fiberglass, but it's actually stronger, it's more resilient, and it's fire resistant. So it's just like hitting all the marks. Pretty amazing stuff, actually. It's called Flava, F-I-L-A-V-A, and they call it isomatics, actually, is like the typical, the actual material that they use. So what you see here is a sailboat that they built from start to finish using this material. And what they do is they take it, they grind it up, they heat it up, and they turn it into little balls, and then they take those and they turn that into a powder, and then they mix that with resin, and then that turns into the material that you can mold into a hull. So it's pretty amazing. This innovation yacht actually sailed, nearly circumnavigated the Earth, 34,000 miles single-handedly. It's just, yeah, they're an amazing company, and they're really inspiring people to do amazing things as well. Now, Arxen is a company that's bringing all of this innovation and sustainability to the charter industry. Charter yachts are a really big industry for larger boats. When people hire out a large yacht and they go wherever the owner would like to go. So what they're doing is they're taking people out on boats that are hired, but they're all solar powered and they're sustainably run, and they have safe waste projects. A lot of these charter yachts right now, especially we've heard about it in the cruise ship industry, they just dump their waste. They don't have no management practice for it at all. This is another issue that we can tackle in the boating industry as well. But these people are kind of pioneering that, and they're also tapping into a demographic of people that are very interested in expeditions. So this is kind of like a niche market, but I think they're really going to be the ones that are influencing and also getting people excited about caring for the environment and caring for the earth. So what this market is doing is they're going to like the most extreme places on earth that are very, very remote, and doing like research and diving and extreme sports as well. So it's kind of like starting from that end of the spectrum, which has been an interesting part of my research that I've found. But this is obviously very, very small market, but I think it will trickle down into the larger market.
There is going to be a shift. I think more and more people want to do different things with boats, which is what I want to do. You know, I want to go to different places. I don't want to go and anchor off a beach at Saint-Tropez. And therefore, you know, up until sort of the Explorer yachts and Arxen came along, you could only really do that with a huge boat costing tens of millions, if not hundreds of millions, or you did it with a sailing yacht. And the Arxen yacht, you know, I think the durability with the Arxens is important. I mean, even if you take the construction of the boat, when I talked to Jasper early on, he said, well, you know, what do we do? Do we do it in fiberglass or we do it in aluminium? And I said, well, in my view, you do it in aluminium. And, you know, why? Well, for a number of reasons. I mean, the first thing is that, you know, a piece of aluminium on average gets used 8 times. So when this boat eventually gets to the end of its life, it gets cut up and recycled and come back as another aluminium boat. A plastic boat, actually you can't do anything with them. So there's going to be a massive issue with these thousands or hundreds of thousands of fiberglass boats that are just going to be left derelict. What do you do with them? They're just going to be landfill, which is terrible. Then there is a whole sort of new generation of people who want to do something different and explore a motor yacht. I think it's the next market in private yacht owning.
So San Lorenzo is a little bit more common of a boat line. They came out with this e-motion range a few years back. They were actually a little bit ahead of some of these guys that we were just talking about. But they're coming out with aluminum hulls, which is something that we really like to start pushing and seeing for the future of boats. We like that obviously because it's more recyclable. So they're also kind of testing the waters with electric motors as well. And then the next 2 manufacturers that I want to talk about are Sunseeker and Azimut. These 2 manufacturers are doing things, but really I wanted to use them as an example of where we need to start pushing our manufacturers that are kind of the everyday common manufacturers that we see on our lakes today. So we see Sunseeker and we see Asmit around here, not super frequently, but more frequently than the rest of the ones I've been talking about. And I think that they are making some headway, like they're building aluminum boats and teaming up with really important organizations. But like when I look at what they're doing compared to the other manufacturers, we could be doing obviously so much more. And for the end, I just want to say that this is a good direction, but don't stop there. We need to keep rolling with this. And also they need to be inspiring the other manufacturers that are most like them. So like Tierra and Pursuit and Sea Ray, these are super common manufacturers that the marinas around here deal that are doing little to nothing of trying to promote sustainability for their boaters or offer their boaters any way to be green with their boating. You know, we all care about this. So to see that not be offered is really hard. So that's what I really want to get out there and make more accessible for the everyday boater to be able to share their passion for caring for the environment and still go boating. So the next thing that I want to talk about is sustainable propulsion. So if you're going to have a beautifully made sustainable boat that's made from recycled materials, you need a reliable, sustainable way to propel that through the water. And one of the best manufacturers for that is Torqeedo. Actually, they've been doing it for quite some time now. The fact that obviously the electric engines are insanely more simple than your average combustion engine. And you can see the propeller kind of on the back where it sits, and how that whole housing section is a lot bigger, and it's a lot more maintenance. It's a lot more parts to replace. You have to have a lot more technical staff to be able to maintain it and know how to fix it and things like that. I mean, the electric engines still require professionals to maintain them, but the amount of parts that you're dealing with are unsurmountably less. So the maintenance is definitely a selling point for them, not to mention being a lot more quiet moving through the water and a lot more versatile. You don't have to plug in, like we were saying, if it's hooked up to solar power. It's just, yeah, it's a wonder why we don't all start doing this. But they have 3 different types of engines that they offer. They offer the inboard engine, as you see on the screen, and then they offer an outboard, which is the first engine that they came out with, up to 80 horsepower actually. And then they also offer a pod engine, which is super revolutionary. I mean, pod engines only came out, I don't know, it was like early 2000s. And they're actually a type of engine. It's the way it's mounted in the boat on the hull. It's more of a, you have to cut a circular hole in the bottom of the hull. And the reason for doing that is so then the engine actually has a better torque, and it moves through the water a lot more efficiently. So it makes sense as to why people that are going green would want to be more efficient with the way that they reserve their power. The next thing I'm going to talk about is fiberglass recycling. Now, oh boy, fiberglass recycling is, it's a big topic in this, the marine industry and the boating community, because it's something that is going to be a very big issue. And I don't think a lot of people want to talk about it because we don't really have a good solution yet. But that's why I want to talk about it. So fiberglass was introduced into the boating market in kind of like the early 60s-ish. Before we used fiberglass, we used wood for making all of our hulls, and that obviously was a sustainable product, but it wasn't very resistant. You know, these wood hulls would have to have insane amounts of maintenance, and they would deteriorate quite quickly, especially with the salt water. When fiberglass was introduced into the market, it exploded because it's so easy to use, it's versatile, and it's very, very durable as well. It holds up to extreme weather conditions, and it's much lower maintenance than wood would be. But the biggest thing is that no one really thought about what would happen at the end of its life cycle. Now, we're just starting to see these first phase of fiberglass boats hitting the end of their life cycle, which is why now this is starting to come up to be more of an issue. The picture that you see on the screen is what they call a boat graveyard. These are dead boats, as you could call. Something that happens kind of most of the time would be after like a tropical storm or after natural disasters. A lot of these boats just wash up, and it's way cheaper right now the way that our most of the states' recycling and government systems are set up to just leave the boat, just not deal with it, and maybe even have to pay the fines for leaving it somewhere, as opposed to actually taking it somewhere to properly dispose of it in a landfill. So even if you do it the right way, it still isn't going to be a good thing for the environment in the long run anyways. We started seeing this in the market for the windmill blades as well, because those are made out of fiberglass. So we're kind of trying to team up with what they're doing and seeing how we can keep the windmill blades from going into landfill as well. Now, on that note, we have found two different fiberglass recycling companies. One of them is located in France. APER is the French and the first European boat recycling company. They take the boats and they completely strip them in the facility, and then they take that fiberglass, everything that's left, and then they can grind it up, and then they sell it to other people. So now then there's this other company in Florida, and that's called EcoWolf. And Sabina, her father was the one that started this company. He was very, very passionate about the environment. We'll soon have an interview with her as well. So head to the website after the spiel and you'll be able to see that. But what they're doing is really cool, is that they invented a grinder to grind up this material, and then they can sell it to other companies. And there's a company called Envision Boatworks. They are out of Saginaw, Michigan. And I spoke to Jeff, the guy that runs Envision Boatworks, and he's been using it for 15 years and says that it's absolutely flawless, and he would choose that over regular fiberglass that wasn't recycled any day, actually. And his customers also really appreciated it as well. So it's amazing to see this positive response to something that's so new to the market, kind of, or that we're trying to influence into the market more. I think it's amazing that we haven't implemented it more, actually, since it has arrived. But I think exposure is the best thing to say that we need to. Not anybody really knows that these companies are available. The cool thing about EcoWolf as well is that they are offering these grinders to sell to companies. So if they were to be purchased by one of the marinas up here, you could essentially, or working with a recycling center, Emmett County Recycling, purchase one of those and start an entire recycling facility for fiberglass anywhere. Yeah, it's pretty amazing. And then using that material to build boats, and also not even losing continuity, which is, I think, why people don't really lean towards it very much, because they think that it's not as strong, but it really is. So now lastly, it's boating and you. Like, how do you as a boater get involved and share your passion for being more sustainable with you and your boating lifestyle? Using sustainable products is the first way that you can start. People don't even realize that there are companies out there offering recycled materials such as dock lines made from recycled water bottles, and also docks themselves. they are making those out of recycled materials as well as recycled fiberglass, which is pretty cool. Using biodegradable washing products for your boat when you're washing it and cleaning it are a little bit harder to find, actually, that I was really sad to see. So call to action on that as well. But what Wallstrom Marine has been introducing and using for actually years, my dad started using vinegar and water just as their cleaning products. When we wash all of our boats, we have multiple different customers that have us wash their boats, and that's what we use for on the water, but then also off the water in our facility. So that helps us be more of a clean marina. Pretty cool. Regular maintenance really helps cut down on your waste, as Danielle was saying as well. Like just maintaining the boat and making sure that it's running properly. You're not leaking oil. You're not doing anything that's going to cause any harm to the environment by checking up on everything regularly. Every time you go out, you should check your engine before you do that. So, and then also properly winterizing the boat or properly getting it maintained. So making sure that you're talking to the professionals, people that know what they're doing and are going to be able to catch these issues before they happen, preventative maintenance instead of after the fact. And then also making sure that you're doing all this off of the water. If there is any maintenance that needs to be done, you need to get the oil changed. Always change the oil off-site. It's never safe to do that in the water. Also, if you're disposing of any chemicals, those should be stored way off-site as well. So lastly, I kind of just want to talk about how all of this relates to the implementing it into the community, because this is going to be the thing that holds everything together. And I really do believe that educating people is the first step in actually implementing and awareness to action, So what I did was I went to Inland Seas Association, which is up in Suttons Bay, Michigan, and they have a really great program going where they educate children. And I'll show you a little bit of a video on my interview with Rachel, who's an educator at Inland Seas. She's going to give you a whole spiel on how they're educating kids on caring for the environment, caring for the water, and in the long run, helping us all be better boaters and better stewards for the water. So.
Hey everyone, I'm Madeline Wallstrom. I'm here with Rachel. She's here from Inland Seas, and she's going to give us a whole talk through about what they got going here. We're up in Suttons Bay. It's a beautiful day. We're out by the lake, and we got a lot to tell you guys about. Yeah. So Rachel, tell me a little bit about what you got going.
Yeah, I'm an educator with Inland Seas, so my main job is delivering our programs, be it on our ship, in our center, or we have some dockside offerings as well with ROV, and that's what we do. Our Inland Seas mission is to introduce school kids and families to the Great Lakes through hands-on and interactive activities to show them pieces that exist under the lake and what kind of things are happening down there and why they're worth caring about.
Oh, that's awesome. That's so cool. Okay, so tell me a little bit about how Inland Seas has impacted our Great Lakes.
I think that we have a two-pronged approach, the most important being introducing the next generation of learners to this water body, the whole basin of the Great Lakes. So we bring students as well as their parents sometimes on our public programs out onto the water, and we really introduce them to all the foundational pieces of our food web and how all of those pieces are connected and how we have an impact on that food web. And I think most of our participants, I would venture to say, leave with a greater understanding of the water body, which in turn leads to a great care for that water body.
Would you say that this program has certainly influenced the community, and kind of how has that happened?
From what I've seen, when I wear my Inland Seas shirt down the street, I definitely have really positive interactions with this community directly. I also think that we do really well with the entire Great Lakes community, and in a typical summer, we actually travel up to the UP. Recently, we've been going to Detroit. So really, we are becoming a Great Lakes name in the sense of, this is where you want to go to learn all of those pieces and Great Lakes research and information.
So your community involvement probably has a lot to do with your volunteers that are here as well. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, so we have a group of really phenomenal and dedicated volunteers. They work on the ship as instructors and crew. They come and help keep our grounds nice. They volunteer in our office. We have tons of opportunities for direct community as well as people who come in, travel to see us to get involved.
And tell me a little bit about why you think it's important to be involving kids in this conversation about our Great Lakes instead of just talking to the adults.
Absolutely. Anybody who's familiar with working with kids knows that kids are just a little ball of energy and passion, and you've just got to give them a direction. So by offering a hands-on opportunity to get in the mud, hold a fish, meet a microscopic organism close up, you're showing them that your passion has a place here in this water, here in these Great Lakes. And they carry that with them through their whole lives.
So in relation to the boating industry, do you think it's important that boaters care about these waters and things, just like you guys are taking so much precaution to monitor them and care for them? Do you think it's important for them to do that as well?
Oh, absolutely. If we want to continue to use the resource, we have to make sure that it stays in good condition. And a lot of that comes with using sustainable and mindful boating practices and equipment and cleaners and things like that. Rinsing your boat, but when you move between water bodies is really important.
What do you think one of the biggest threats is to our waters that we have today?
I can only answer this from a personal standpoint because there are so many perceived threats in terms of invasive species and nutrient loading, microplastics and plastic pollution in general are all they all have an impact on the resource. I would think then that the greatest threat to the water would be complacency or perhaps apathy or feeling overwhelmed. There's so many problems and it can feel like as an individual, how can you with all of those issues. And the reality is that we all have a part to play. And your effort matters and your voice matters and you have an impact on your own. And as the sooner we can all get on board with that, the longer we can hang out on the water. So
yeah, and what a great example of, teaching kids, like you were saying, and getting them knowledgeable when they don't really have that fear of overwhelmed. When you start them young and say, this is really cool and you can make a difference when they're young and they have these minds that just want to explore. I think that's exactly the perfect way to go about doing it.
Absolutely.
So I don't know if a lot of people know that there's not just microplastics in the oceans, but we are also finding microplastics in our lakes, which makes total sense because plastic is worldwide.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about how you guys have found that.
Microplastics is one of the stations we offer on the ship. We have a core group of volunteers who teach it. We're always looking for more. But we have volunteers who teach it, and they love to teach it because it's something that the kids can take home and really take ownership of. We are partnered with Dr. Sherry Mason out of Penn State, and she has developed a research protocol where we sample the water for about 30 minutes. We'll pull something called a manta trawl behind the ship, bring it on board, and then we start sifting through that and looking for plastics. And most trawls we find small pieces of plastic out in the water. We talk about how that moves through the food web, fish mistake it for food sometimes. And some of these plastics, microplastic is any piece of plastic that's smaller than 5 millimeters. So if you think of like a pencil eraser, anything smaller than that. And some of these can get so small that a small plankton can ingest it or have it attached to their body in some way, which leads to that stuff moving up the food web. So that's kind of it's an ongoing conversation. It's active research that we're participating on the ship. And it's a big showpiece, I think, with the students.
So when talking about how you feel complacency is one of the biggest threats that we see in our Great Lakes, Inland Sea seems to be doing a lot to combat that, but tell me a little bit about how you feel they are.
Yeah, I love bringing people out onto the water and showing them directly. Like once you have a fish literally in your face, you can't help but want to protect it, or a plankton, or some of the little creepy crawlies that we find down in the benthos. Once you meet these characters, you're way more susceptible to attach value to them and carry that with you. I also think, with our ROV programs, so we build small vehicles and drive them around in the water, and different ways to connect to the water.
What are you most excited about in the future of inland seas or the future of our lakes, and what are you guys gearing up to do?
I mean, in terms of being excited for the future, I can't wait until we can get back out with like full school groups and moving around in the summer. This has been a little bit of a topsy-turvy season. I still love that we're able to reach people who are able to come and see us. We do have we are right on the brink of our fall schoolship season. We are able to bring a few schools out as they feel it's safe. We are kind of piloting the idea of working directly with homeschool cohorts. Oh, cool. So if you are in a homeschool environment, that may be something you might want to reach out to Stephanie, our program coordinator, for, in terms of looking about, what are the opportunities there. But other than that, yeah, I can't wait to get out on the water and introduce everyone to our lakes.
Yes, get them excited about it, get them caring and passionate about it, being good stewards for the environment and our beautiful water system. So, thanks, guys.
The next program that I want to tell you guys about is Topo Nexus. This is a program out of Harbor Springs, Michigan, that was started by one of our locals here, Molly Baker. She has been really passionate about innovating new ways to educate our kids outside of the classroom, so more place-based learning and doing stuff like a week without walls, where the kids come out of the classroom for a week, and really innovating the way that we look at things. So bringing kids out of the classroom and getting them in their backyards through backyard adventures, just getting kids to explore what they have in their immediate surroundings, get them curious, get them learning about what they have available to them. She has introduced something called Learn Local Academy, which is all about taking kids and teaching them about the area that they grew up in. It's a really cool program. The last company I want to talk to you about is called Connect Ocean, and this was started by a man named Ernst, and he's actually located in Costa Rica. And the reason I'm bringing them up is because I think it's important for us to keep expanding our knowledge and learning from people from all over the world of different ways that they are getting everyone passionate about caring for our lakes and oceans, and how they're using innovative approaches to that, actually, and then how that applies to the boating and the marine industry.
My name is Adams van der Poel. I'm the founder of Connect Ocean, and this is our story. They also have the largest brain. Connect Ocean, as the name aptly says, is there to connect people to the ocean. We're able to connect people to the ocean exponentially more if they're able to swim. You two are together? Uno, dos, tres! And this is why Costa Rica is such an amazing country to be able to do that. Costa Rica, what a lot of people don't realize, has got 10 times more ocean territory than they got land territory. Drowning is the second highest cause of accident worldwide. And what we're trying to do is we're trying to reconnect young people to place, to connect them to it, because we believe that if we are able to connect people to the planet, to the ocean, they get to spend time in it, they get to care about it, and then naturally they will protect it.
We all unite together and care about one issue. The options are endless, and we can get so much done. It's really inspiring, and I can't wait to see what the future holds. In conclusion, for my segment, I think it's very interesting to see how far the marine industry has come in growing its passion for protecting our waters and growing its knowledge. It's just also about learning it and gaining information on what we need to protect and how we need to go about doing that. But it also is a call to action to say, we have so much more that we could be doing, and the resources are starting to become available. But if we all start educating ourselves on these different issues and start, as consumers, start demanding them, the producers will follow and start producing them. So Danielle is back. In conclusion, we just kind of want to wrap everything up and tell you guys where to go to get more info, and and a big old thank you. But Danielle, tell us where we can get more info on the MBIA and the Clean Marina. Okay.
Sure. So you can go to theunitedbywater.com and contact either Madeline or myself, and we will provide you with all that information, or you can check out michigancleanmarina.org. Feel free to contact me. My email is on the screen, but just in case you can't see it or it's too tiny, it's dfahim@mbia.org. And I'm also open for a phone call. I'd love to hear your thoughts on how we as a Clean Marina program can do more. We are looking forward to the future and would love your feedback. And thank you all so much for your time today. And thank you, Madeline, for letting me host alongside you. This is wonderful.
Yeah, it's been really great. Thank you. We're really excited to partner with the MBIA. You guys are doing really amazing stuff. So if you want any more information on all of the things on how to be personally a more conscious boater, more caring for the environment when you're on the water, in your personal watercraft or in any kind of way, I would love to hear your thoughts and anything that you want to learn more about. All that information will be on the website as well. So I'm looking forward to whatever the future has in store, and I think I speak for both of us when I say that we're just very honored to be a part of this amazing festival and all of these amazing programs that have come together in one place in a very beautiful dance. So thank you guys for letting us be a part of it. We're really honored and we're excited for the future.